All right, welcome. Thanks for joining.
Yes.
My name is Robb. I'm a volunteer and a sighted guide who's been involved with Dare2Try for almost 6 years now. It'll be 6 years in December, and I'm extremely excited to be a part of today's Day2Give. I'm even more excited to be joined by athlete Owen Cravens. So Owen got started with Dare2Try at our kids camp, and now he's an elite Dare2Try athlete on our elite team, and he's competed on the International Paratriathlon Circuit. I've been lucky to race alongside Owen on a few occasions as well as a sighted guide. So first of all, Owen, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Glad to be here. So to start off, so for some of the people who might not be as familiar with the concept of racing with a guide, could you just explain what a sighted guide is and why it's important for you to have one?
So it's really important to have a sighted guide in triathlon, especially when you're visually impaired. They help you navigate throughout the race, both physically and through your psychological battles throughout your race. Robb was one of my first sighted guides at a Dare2Try kids camp. He actually taught me like how to ride a tandem and how to run with a guide and swim with a guide, and it really changed my life and prepared me for my future in the sport of triathlon.
I sort of want to hear your thoughts when you've raced with me, you've raced with a few other guides. What do you look for in terms of a guide? What does that person have to have for them to race with you?
Yeah, so for me personally, I like someone that I can connect with throughout my race. So I can talk to them throughout my race if I'm having any struggles, if I'm tired or exhausted, and someone who can really push me when I'm getting a little out of the race mindset throughout my race. Also just people that generally will push me physically throughout the race. So someone who will make me faster.
So I want to sort of take us back a little bit. So you, at a very young age, transitioned from triathlon to paratriathlon, which landed you at our kids camp. What was that transition like for you?
It was very difficult, for sure. I was very independent, and I didn't really like having someone else with me throughout my race or changing up the way I do things. But I knew it had to happen, and it really wasn't too big of a change. It's still just as competitive.
Can you talk a bit about some of the key players who were involved in that?
You for sure, Carrie, and all the Dare2Try staff, Dan, they've all helped me tremendously learn the sport of triathlon, get more engaged in the sport, and they've really brought me into the community and helped me to just figure my way out in the Dare2Try community and the triathlon community.
Awesome. And I mean, I would definitely say as a guide, being able to race, especially alongside you, has been a huge motivator for me. It's definitely been keeping me accountable. I was wondering if you could talk about someone either who you've met or someone in the greater community who motivates or inspires you.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the paratriathlon community that really motivate me and inspire me. One of them being my coach, Aaron Scheides, who's been multiple time world champion for paratriathlon visually impaired. He's really helped me figure out how to be a member of society and become normal with the visual impairment and really be engaged in society and pursue a sport of triathlon at a really high level.
What would you say your most cherished memory with Dare2Try is?
I think the most memorable or I guess like memory that's impacted me the greatest was probably the first kids camp. When I met you, you really taught me how to do this whole paratriathlon thing. And if I wasn't at that Dare2Try kids camp, I probably would have never been where I am today.
What advice would you offer to someone who's new to adaptive sports?
So I think the biggest advice that I have for people that are new to parasports is you just got to really embrace yourself in the community. Get to know everyone from high level to beginners along with you. You really have to embrace the culture in order to be in that field of competition. And that was really a key to me in triathlon because when I joined, I was a little lost and I kind of just embraced the fact that I was there and I was learning a new thing. And you don't have to enjoy it the first time, but you'll eventually start to have more fun, and you'll really just fall in love with the sport of para sports, not just para-tri. I fell in love with para-track and field, para-swimming, and para-tri. So there's sports out there for everyone, despite what you're going through.
This is actually just one I wanted to ask. So last year, Owen, you got to race in the Elite Paratriathlon National Championships in California at the Legacy Tri, which is also hopefully going to be the site of the triathlon and paratriathlon for the 2028 games in LA. What was that like? Not only being at nationals for the first time, racing in a Team USA kit, racing against the best in the country, but also on what's possibly going to be an Olympic course coming up.
Yeah, I really felt something there. I knew when I was about to jump into that swim to the point where I was finishing, I knew that that was something that I fell in love with, racing at that high level, especially at that race where there's all sorts of competition throughout the U.S. The top guys came out there, and I just raced. And what I really took out of that race was that I really want to succeed in the sport of paratriathlon. Even if I'm not winning, even if I got third place, I'm still enjoying the sport. It was just really meaningful to race there. And I can see myself progressing in the sport for sure.
Thanks for catching up with me today, Owen. I really appreciate your time. Hope you're doing well. Hope your whole family's doing well. And thank you for being a part of our Day2Give.
Yeah, thank you so much for letting me speak here and really getting my voice out to the people in the community.
Donate now and build a stronger future for Dare to Try and its athletes. Thank you for supporting Day2Give.